There's a phrase I heard recently: don't let the customer see your org chart. Basically, the disconnect between CS and product, CS and sales, CS and leadership, that shows up in negative ways for our customers. And we don't need to air out our dirty laundry to our customers. They don't need to know how the sausage is made.
You're listening to the Daily Stand-Up by Lifetime Value. Consider this your daily dose of new ideas, fresh perspectives, and/or hot takes as they relate to the worlds of customer success, post-sales, or whatever the hell we're calling it these days, and where we ask each guest one simple question: what's on your mind?
What's up, lifers, and welcome to the Daily Stand-Up with Lifetime Value, where we're serving up fresh customer success ideas to you every damn day. I've got my man Rob with us. Rob, do you want to say hi?
What's up, lifers?
JP, would you like to say hi?
Hey, it's the CEO of Five Wise. Come get your burger and fries. JP, baby.
Jay, would you like to say hi?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. I'll just keep it simple.
Please, give us a break. And I am your host. My name is Dylan Young. Jay, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure thing. So my name is Jay Sanchez. I'm the manager of customer support and success over at Lean Law, using he, him pronouns. And yeah, that's a bit about myself.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here, Jay. You know the deal. We're asking everybody what is on your mind in customer success. So why don't you tell us?
Yeah, absolutely. The main thing that's been on my mind really has been turning customer success inwards and aligning your organization and their goals with your customers' goals, with your own goals. So that's kind of been what's been in my mind a lot.
So the very first question that comes to my mind is, and this is a little bit of a flip question, but I want to break it down. Shouldn't we know what our customers' goals are long before we even need a customer success group? Isn't that kind of why we're building businesses?
Yes and no. We should definitely know what our customers' goals are, but it's more so of a, what does our market want? What is the pain point that we're trying to solve? But then it's up to the customer success team to then connect the dots across the board. Okay, so we know what the pain point is, but does the customer know that that's the pain point that they're talking about? Does the organization know that that's the pain point they're addressing?
Mm-hmm. And so why is it on your mind lately? Is it a thing you're being challenged with internally, just something you're seeing within the community?
Bit of both. My experience has been that customer success is COGS when it comes to accounting, when you're budgeting for CS. A lot of times organizations are like, we'll leave that for last. We'll focus on, we'll build a support team, we'll build the product team, sales team, all of that leaves customer success for last. And then when it's time to cut costs, customer success usually is the one on the table. Customers don't really understand what a customer success manager is meant to do for them. Leadership doesn't understand what customer success is meant to do for the organization. It just makes everybody's job a lot harder. And I actually just had a conversation about this today where I explained, you can hit me with 20 different customers all screaming at me at the same time. But if I know that my organization has my back because they know what I'm supposed to be doing, I'll tackle that every time.
Can I just ask a question, Jay?
Yeah.
This is super interesting. And the term turning CS inwards is new to me. And I understand it in practice, but I would love to hear just a little bit more about what that means to you and what that looks like in practice when, you use the example of a customer yelling at you. Let's say 1 instead of 20. So
Sure.
Can you help me understand? I would love to learn from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you a great example. When I first joined Lean Law, the first thing I did was a company-wide survey to understand what did they see as customer success and do they believe that the current team is actually achieving that? Part of that was for me to understand where are we at and where do we need to go? Kind of that discovery, but inwards into the organization. There I found out a lot of great things and a lot of gaps that were happening. There's no relationship between customer satisfaction and retention, but that was still a thought process that's still existing in the organization. We didn't quite understand the customers. Some of us did, some of us didn't. So there was that gap as well. And when I kept digging, I had one-on-one meetings with different people on each team, specifically leadership. I kind of started noticing these patterns where they had tried implementing customer success in the past. They tried building account management. They tried building customer success management. And every time it kept falling through. So when I asked, why do you think that fell through? more customer discovery, understanding the pain points of leadership. A lot of that I found was just a general misunderstanding of what customer success could bring to the business. Okay, great. Now I'm about 8 months into my role. Now we're tackling building the foundations of customer success. Now that I know what the other teams struggle with understanding what we do, I can meet with them, clarify, like, this is our goal. This is what we're trying to get to. It turns out frequent meetings with sales where we can do a better transfer of knowledge, better transfer of information, meetings with leadership of where is your business goal so that I can work with our customers to help you get there. But at the same time, doing customer calls and understanding where do they want to go with our products. So how can I get them there?
Super cool. That was really helpful. Thank you. And you clearly seem like someone who's given so much thought to the connection between, there's a phrase I heard recently, which was someone at a conference said, don't let the customer see your org chart. And I thought that was really good. And I think you're sort of speaking to the same point, which a lot of times our org chart, basically the disconnect between CS and product, CS and sales, CS and leadership, or whatever, that shows up in negative ways for our customers. And we don't need to air out our dirty laundry to our customers. They don't need to know how the sausage is made. So I think you're speaking to a really deep wisdom with connecting our internal processes and relationships to the customer experience. Yeah, that was really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Something I do want to add on there is a lot of times the accountability of connecting those dots tend to fall, like nobody knows who is accountable for it. That's why I think personally CS is the perfect place to be accountable for it, because that's kind of what CS does. Business goals. How do we get from A to B for the customer? Just, again, turn it inwards. How can you get from A to B for the business?
We also just end up playing the facilitator, the quarterback, whatever you want to call it, so much that it's a natural place for us to live. I think that becomes a delicate balance because we do have to have a bit of deference for those other groups. They have very important roles. And in a lot of ways, we are just supporting them. Sales sells something, assuming they sell it correctly, right? Let's get rid of any talk about maybe they're mishandling expectations, but it's then we are meant to be the steward of that contract and that relationship, and sales is trusting that we can do that. And the same with product. We are the steward of the product and the customer's voice back to them. And so it is a natural evolution for us to want to facilitate those conversations and to help drive that conversation, but at the same time to bring folks along for the ride and not necessarily act like we've got all the answers. JP, I want to give you a chance to jump in here.
Oh yeah, I think that to use Dylan to like these relationship analogies. So I think I'll use one. A lot of times people will say, "I want a relationship." Well, what does that mean, right? If you actually start to define what that is, right, you can really figure out if you're actually aligned. And so I think there's a lot of companies that be like, "Oh, I want to have customer success," and it's like, all right, that's like,
what does that mean to you?
Go like a lot deeper, right? Like, what does that mean? And I think that being more well defined helps you be more well aligned.
Ooh,
hey, taking that
one.
Taking that one.
Love that.
Hey.
And that's exactly it. A big thing that I talk about when I talk to individual contributors versus team managers is this doesn't have to stop just at managers. As an individual contributor, there is literally nothing stopping you from reaching out to anybody in sales and going, hey, what can we just chat? Like, how can I help you sell more? And if you start with that approach, because you're not going to tell a customer, what can you do for me? So don't do that with other teams. Hey, what can I do for you? How can I make your job easier? And from there, focus on connecting the dots for them.
I recently worked with a salesperson who joined our organization, and everybody was like, oh, he's so awesome. He's the best. He's got all these industry connections. And I remember pretty early on, he hit the ground running pretty fast and did well pretty early on, and I was handling most of his accounts because they were larger accounts. And so I set a meeting with him and I said, how can I help you? And he literally said to me, just get the hell out of the way. Like, just let me do my thing. Don't talk to my accounts. I'll deal with it all. I tee them all up for additional sales after the fact. Like, just stay out of my way. And so I just think that's a funny story. But I wonder, Jay, like with the time we have left, how would you handle that?
You know what? That's something I've also heard myself before. Really, a lot of it goes back down to psychology. Shoot, I can't recall off the top of my head what the name of the effect is, but it's when you ask people for small, doable, and impactful favors, but something that would take no time from them. And I started analyzing that a little bit more. It's like, why does that make people want to like you more? Why does that make them want to trust you more? It's because the power dynamic is different. They're the ones that are doing the favor for you. That's kind of the approach that I have. Is like, okay, well, you want me out of your way. Totally. I totally want to be out of your way. Can I understand your process so that I can make sure to stay out of the way? And then as you start developing that, you're like, oh, actually, I noticed that you're doing this on this process. I can actually do this that can help you do that process. And I'll still stay out of your way, but here's how we can make it better.
Jay, I think it's the Ben Franklin effect, or also
That's what it is.
Foot in the door effect. I don't know. Have you guys heard of this before, Dylan?
My
JP?
personal hero, Ben Franklin. I'm surprised I didn't know that.
So Ben Franklin, he wanted to, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, if I'm getting into this incorrect, but I think that the story is that Ben Franklin wanted to get on the radar of some very important person when he was young in his career. And so what he did was he asked this person just a small favor to borrow a book or something like that. And this person then registered in their mind, I have a relationship with Ben Franklin, this young guy, and he's interested in books. And I guess we have some kind of connection here. And the fact that this person had done a small favor for Ben Franklin had enabled this person to then do him future favors. Because it was just kind of like they got the muscle memory going of doing each other favors, which I thought was pretty cool. I might be misrepresenting that slightly, but that's how I remember it.
Yeah.
Well, that's as good a place as any to end it. Jay, that is our time. I want to thank you so much for being here and for sharing that. You had a very clear topic, and I love that. And it sounds like you did your research, and we love that here at the Daily Stand-Up. So thanks so much. We hope to have you back soon.
Absolutely. Would love to come back and happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right.
Thanks, Jay.
You've been listening to The Daily Stand-Up by Lifetime Value. Please note that the views expressed in these conversations are attributed only to those individuals on this recording and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of their respective employers. For all inquiries, please reach out via email to dylan@lifetimevaluemedia.com. Find us on YouTube at Lifetime Value and find us on the socials at Lifetime Value Media. Until next time.
Hey folks, it's Dylan here. Thank you for tuning in as always. Now I've got a favor to ask of you. If you've made it this far, hopefully it means you like what we're doing with our program. So I'm asking you to please give this a like and a follow or a subscribe and leave a comment too. Your likes and your follows and your subscriptions, they allow us to keep doing what we're doing and reach a larger audience. Your comments help us make sure that we're making the best content for you. Best of all, it's free besides a few moments of your time. Thank you again for following along and we'll see you next time.